Hello, hello. And I am super excited today, truly excited to be talking with Kat Gillett of the Hero Method. I'm particularly excited and to bring some of her wisdom to you and my tribe, because there are a lot of points of synergy, I think. Now, Kat is very much has a wealth of marketing experience and focused on the written word and copy. And my main focus, as you know, is on the spoken word, hence Speak to Engage. But both of them, whether it's written or spoken, they need to speak to you as the audience. And that's where I see the synergy. And we'll talk later. I also love the fact that Catherine puts a lot of emphasis on authenticity and being true to yourself, and story, which is so important. And maybe most of all, as it's the Hero's Method, putting you as the audience at center stage, which again underlies my philosophy. So I think there's a lot of value. I also can highly recommend Kat because she is my mentor as well. So I tend not to recommend things without my trying things out myself. So this is an awesome and exciting person to speak about. And I'm hoping that I'm going to earn a few brownie points. But she is also an author. You're going to see this back to front, but it says the Hero Method. So Kat is the author of the Hero Method, which is what she's here to talk to you guys about. And I'm sure you will get some pearls of wisdom from that. We've also got the synergy in story, in that we both love history and we love mythology, and that is an exciting. So it's bringing her expertise for you in a world of marketing. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Oh, and I know she's also the author of a fiction book about Sir Walter Raleigh, which I haven't got here to show you, but I'm sure is extra as well, worth reading. But I think that's fantastic, because you get the more factual guide in the book, but you also have Kat having experienced herself in actually getting into the realms of story and adventure. So it's a lovely mix. And so here, please, I'm going to pass you over and welcome Kat. So do tell me, particularly for my audience, Kat, which is focused on the confident speaker, and one of my main, I suppose, cornerstones is being your true self and authentic. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the Hero Method and how it helps people to be authentic with their message.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me, Marianne. This is a delight to be able to talk with you today. So thank you very much for the invitation. The thing that comes to mind about what the Hero Method teaches us is the importance of authenticity. The basis of the Hero Method is about creating human-to-human connection.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about business to consumer or business to business, because no business ever bought anything. It's a human being buying, and a consumer is just a weird name for, that kind of to categorize a human. Basically, it's human beings responding. And human beings, as we know, we buy from people we know, like, and trust. So if we think of when we speak, because I am also a professional speaker, so I definitely use the Hero Method when I speak, because when people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So if we think of the ideas we want to get across as something that the audience wants to buy, or they buy in it, that kind of idea. Yeah. It's really important to be authentic, because every buy is an emotional buy. It's not about the facts you have to offer. It's not that you don't, convey the facts, but it's about that authentic way that you bring your passion, you bring your enthusiasm. Hopefully, the reason that you're speaking about what you're speaking is because you're passionate about it. Absolutely. And if you authentically bring that, people love that. It's such an attractive concept
Mm-hmm.
to be in the room with somebody who's really passionate about what they do and really knowledgeable and sharing that knowledge with their passion. There's nothing more engaging. And that's the same thing in the written content, whatever, even as a speaker, sometimes you'll have a handout, sometimes you'll have materials that you bring with you.
Yeah.
Bring that passion to the written word as well, and you'll have no problem gaining fans.
That's such a really good point, because sometimes when you move from one medium, say the spoken word, to the written, it's easy to forget that actually you're still speaking to the person. And yeah, that's a really important point. I love that. And to sort of still, there's so many times that you can just pick up a book and it's within the first page you think, no, I'm not interested. It has to connect. So that's a great point. Yeah. That's really great.
And speaking of connection, I think that's important in speaking too, is that what the hero method teaches us is that it's, we're not the hero. Often when we're taught as speakers, which I know is not your methodology, but this is why your methodology is so brilliant, that I was taught this many, many times. You're the superstar up on the stage and the spotlight is on you. And that creates an authenticity, that's a disauthenticity.
Yes.
Because it's not the connection. And that whole thing about you're supposed to like look at the audience and see them in their underwear or whatever. In other words, you're supposed to see them as being a joke. Or
Yeah.
it's about connecting. And so the thing is, if you're really anxious, well, first of all, if you can, put somebody in the audience that you already know so that you can connect with them.
That's a great
But
tip.
even
Yeah.
just realize that the reason people are there is because they want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And so that, again, that authentic connection, that the audience is really the hero and you are the mentor up on the stage, bringing them helpful insight and advice that's going to somehow make their world a better place. So if you go up with that, that's very hero method. That's very hero method, right? As you know, Marianne.
Yeah.
That audience is actually the hero who there's something wrong in their world and there's something that you can bring to their world to help fix it. So
yes.
That's the connection that you have. And I feel that when you have that kind of connection, it's easier to be authentic and it alleviates a lot of the anxiety about, oh, I've got to be the superstar. I've got to be the expert. No, your mentor, your teacher, your support system for the audience. It creates a very different feeling about what it feels like to be on the stage.
Definitely. I was doing a live today talking about one of the key things is just focusing on the value you've got to offer. And it's very true. Once you start to have that connection with your audience, it does take a huge amount of pressure off you. It becomes more like a conversation, because if I was just talking at somebody, it's hard work. But there's always the other person to support you. And I actually remember having sat in audiences where people have looked at me for support and they're smiling because I'm engaging and interested. So yes, that's a great point of connection. Great tip. Thank you. So the other thing that we have a great, I think, synergy in and a sort of mutual passion in our various ways is story. So maybe a little tip from you about story from your hero method.
Well, the story. So I think the important thing is, and as a speaker, this is another thing that we're taught over and over again, is you just tell a story, any story, tell a story.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is where the real power of story is not in telling a story from the beginning and middle and end. That's not where the power is. The power is actually in the unconscious connection that the story creates. So I highly recommend stories, but be sure to choose your stories very carefully. The story needs to be, again, your mentor sharing your insight and wisdom and tools and tricks with the audience. Make sure that story serves that purpose. So often we're told to tell the story of, our backstory. Only tell that story if it's relevant to the topic that you're talking about, if it serves as more of a metaphor for what you're going to say. It's not because everybody's so fascinated by us and our story. It's that the story needs to be relevant to the audience and relevant to the topic, and somehow serves as a metaphor for what you're going to be talking about. Helps them really sink in that information. The story really is a great way to sink in information in a way that just stating the facts just can't do.
Absolutely. So we relate to story, but remember, use a story that's relevant to what you want to speak about, and that is for helping engage your audience rather than just telling a story. Very, very important. So, and then the connection part is remember that you're connecting with the audience. They're the heroes. It reduces the pressure and the nerves of the speaker because it becomes a bit more of a two-way conversation, and it allows you to be authentic. Lovely. So is there anything else we were going to do is do 2 shorter videos, and is there anything else that you'd like to add, any other bits of wisdom about the hero method, or anything that you'd like to share?
Well, I would like to share that I have an ebook that I've written that is about what I call the decision journey. And so how this ties in is understanding where your audience is when you're speaking to them, where they are in their decision journey about what your solution is. It's not about a sales funnel. Like a lot of when we're speaking, we usually have something we want to sell. And so where is the audience? In other words, it's not a sales funnel where you want to pull people into your sales funnel and push them through to become customers. It's a decision journey that you're honoring. Again, they're the hero on a quest to find an elixir that will heal what's wounded in what's missing in their wounded land, in their ordinary world. So I have a free ebook that's available, and we can post the link. You know, in addition to this particular video.
That's great. Yes, I'll post the link with the video. So in your ebook, you give, as I understand, it gives a little bit of a worksheet template section, but also a bit more of an idea of the hero's method. So you'll get a little bit more of understanding and have something valuable to take away with you. Is that right, in my understanding?
Yes, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
Great.
Well, Kat, thank you so much for joining. It's been real fun, and the time has gone way too quickly. I thought it would. So do remember to download that ebook, because it's full of really valuable information in its own right. This is a lady who knows what she's talking about, and hopefully you'll be joining us in the next video, and I'll give you warning when that's up as well. And until the next time, thank you so much for joining us, Kat. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Marianne. We'll see you soon.
Take care. See you guys in the next video, and we'll be seeing Kat again.
Bye.